cat? Nope, it's a child! Rewrite of Cat Child? By Anime Hair Colors on AO3. Read by Lily6645. This fic may include child abuse, animal abuse, trauma, and graphic depictions of violence. That is your warning. Chapter 10. The naming of cats is a different matter. Summary. The test happens. I make a slight Disney reference aside from the one in the title. Deku was to be attending UA the next school year, after he finished middle school for the half a year that remained. Assuming he could pass the citizenship test, he did, of course, with flying colors. After all, some of the questions had been things like, if someone gave you a crying baby, would you 1. Eat it, 2. Lock it in a room until it stops crying, 3. Give it a bottle, 4. Rip out its heart, 5. Both D and A in that order, which he had really wanted to put E for as a joke, but managed to have enough inner strength to take the question seriously. Still, he had passed, and it was time to give him a new identity. You have to pick a new name, said the human in charge of all the complicated legal documents to make him human. Deku is too much of a cat name. Isawa knew the person was just being a jerk, since Deku was a fine name for a human, but he simply shrugged. Pick a different name then, kid. Deku frowned. He didn't want to pick a new name. Deku was his name. Idro named him that, the only thing he had left of him. I know you don't like the collar, but you need to wear it. It will make it so everyone will know your name wherever you go. Plus, if you get lost, they'll be able to bring you back here. Alright, Deku? I don't know what I'd do if you got lost, Idro had said. Deku had meowed softly and suffered the collar, despite how uncomfortable it made him. Months later, he was running, trying to use the direction given to him. Unfortunately, as he ran under a fence, the collar got caught on one of the stray wires. He was in a panic and desperately tried to pull himself free, but fire was blown towards him and it hit his collar near his neck, breaking it, letting him run free. He didn't realize until later that he'd left the collar behind. However, he had gotten lost, and he had never found that place again until the collar was already gone. No human would know his name now, unless he told them, and so he did. Do I have to choose something else? He asked the woman. Yes, now hurry up, she said, playing on her phone. Deku decided he would just choose something similar. Deku wrote Kiro, he muttered. Ki-ru, he muttered, trying to change the familiar sound into something different. Ku, he eventually decided. Deku, he said louder, writing out the rest of the name so it said Deku. Kid, that's an insult, said the lady. Pick something else. Deku stared at the paper, frustrated. How about Izuku? Yamada said. Huh? It's written just like Deku, but pronounced differently. Sure, that works, said the woman. Sound good, kid? Deku didn't really know what to think. He didn't want to change his name in the first place, but Izuku sounded okay, so he nodded. Great, now you need a last name, unless you want one of their last names, she said, gesturing towards Isawa and his husband. A last name is like, it's a name your whole family has, right? That's right, Kit, Isawa said. Could it be Midori? That's my mom's name, Izuku asked. That's a color, kid, the lady said. Oh, Izuku said, disappointed. Hey, that's okay, little listener. What if your last name started with Midori and ended with something else? Izuku looked at his caretaker. He said. That's perfect! How about Midoriya? Present Mike said. Mike, Isawa said, face-palming. I like it. If that's okay, then it's good. It's fine, kid, the lady said. She typed it in, and Izuku Midoriya was now a citizen, and the adopted child of Isawa and Yamada. Later, Izuku sat near his caretakers. He looked up at them and asked the question that had been bothering him for hours. Are you upset I didn't take your last name? Isawa shook his head. No, kid. I was actually planning to ask you not to take one of our names, since you're going to UA this next year, and we're teachers. We'd rather not be accused of favoritism. That's right, listener, Yamada said. Besides, it's super sweet you want to honor your mom like that. Is she still alive? Isawa asked. Blood. So much blood. Everywhere. Deku hid behind Idro's leg, while seeing his mother's life drain out of her, body covered in a violent crimson, the glint of a knife shining in the warm light. No, Izuku choked out. I'm sorry, Kit, Isawa said gently, ruffling his hair. Thank you, he said. I'm sorry, Mom, he thought, but didn't say aloud. That is the end of Chapter 10. On to the next chapter. Chapter 11, Shindeku. Summary. Idro enters the scene. Shinso is gay. Soon enough, it was time to watch the entrance exam for UA. Both Shinso and Midoriya had gotten in on recommendations. Midoriya was sitting next to his caretakers when he noticed a redhead. He wasn't sure what made him notice the redhead. Maybe it was something about the way his quirk worked, or about his appearance. The red hair, he had seen his brother dye himself. But he simply stared at them, which Nezu noticed, of course. That applicant would be one Idro Kirishima. Quite impressive, isn't he? Izuku didn't respond. Idro Kirishima. Hey, Deku. My name is Idro. Welcome to the family. Don't worry. I won't let them know you have a quirk. I'll protect you, Idro said, dyeing his fur black. Now that the boy had finished with his own now red hair. Deku meowed piteously. This was unpleasant. I know, but the green fur is kind of a giveaway. Don't worry, though. I told them the black dye was just in case I change my mind. Nobody will know, and they won't ever get rid of you. I don't want to lose you. Deku nodded, an obviously human gesture that he had somehow learned. Just around everyone else, can you try to act like the other cats? Another nod. Move, boy, the father said, holding a knife. Please, don't hurt me, Idro said, backing away from the drunk man, fear filling his expression, terrified, and leaving Dekaroo exposed. It's not you I'm going to hurt. Wait, please, don't! Idro cried out as the older man lunged at Dekaroo, who ran. Idro had broke his promise. He couldn't protect him after all. Izuku hadn't realized he was hyperventilating until he felt Aizawa's hand on his shoulder. Are you all right, Kit? He asked. Yeah, I'm fine. Do you have a problem with young Kirishima? I can prevent him from passing if you need, Nezu said calmly. No! Izuku said quickly. Idro had wanted to be a hero so badly. He had always been so upset when he couldn't protect people at school. He wanted to be a hero so badly and had seemed to gain some confidence in himself since Dekaroo had seen him last. He should pass. I think he'll be a good hero. His quirk is great for protecting people. Humans. He'll be a good hero. I look forward to seeing him in class, Dekaroo said. It wasn't a lie. While part of him felt sick at the sight of his friend, his brother, another part of him was simply happy that the older boy was still following his dreams and seemingly doing okay, even without Dekaroo. I see. All right then. I'll make sure you two get put in the same class, Nezu said. Izuku didn't want that, but he didn't protest, and feared that if he did, the principal would change his mind, and Idro wouldn't be allowed in at all. Okay, he said meekly. Isawa was worried. Dekaroo had been very quiet ever since he had seen the redhead. You want to talk about it? Isawa asked, knocking on the door to the kit's room. He had locked himself inside it the moment he got home. No, was the only response he got. Aizawa sighed and texted Shinso. Despite it being very irrational, Aizawa had to admit he was slightly jealous of the lavender boy. Dekaroo was always more open with him than with Aizawa or his husband. It was a bit like when a cat would choose a favorite family member, but the one they chose was not the one who fed them or provided for them. And even though the rest of the family cared for the cat just as much, if not more, the cat suddenly stuck to the side of the one person who didn't really do anything for them. Considering that Dekaroo was a cat, a fact Aizawa often forgot somehow, perhaps the metaphor was even more apt. In any case, the kit seemed to prefer Shinso's company over anyone else's. So when the kit was sad, Aizawa had a habit of inviting Shinso over. The other kid didn't seem to mind, fortunately, and came over just the same. He's in his room, Aizawa said, letting the lavender boy inside. Well, hello to you too, Isawa heard Shinso grumble. Despite his complaints, Shinso didn't actually mind coming here to cheer up his friend. It was really rewarding when he succeeded. Dekaroo would hug him and cuddle up against him. It was totally platonic. Shut up. Plus, the street went both ways. When Shinso was sad, Deku, who was not so good with words, at least in his own opinion, would turn into a cat and curl up on him, purring and cuddling him, looking at him in the cutesiest way only cats can, offering him quiet comfort and making his problems seem smaller in comparison. Anyway, that's not the point. Hey, what's wrong? Shinso asked his friend. I saw someone from my old family. The ones who tried to kill you? No! No! Not him! He was my friend. The only one I had. But now he's not gonna recognize me. He never knew about my human form, and even if he saw my cat self, I doubt he'd even remember me. He finished in a small voice. That sucks. Let it never be said, Shinso didn't have a way with words. Yeah, I always thought of him as a brother, and now he'll have no idea who I am. And that'll be okay. You're not obligated to tell him, or even talk to him. It'll be all right. Yeah, it will. It will, so long as I have you, best human. Deku thought as he nuzzled his friend slightly. Shinso blushed and smiled at his cat, gently running his fingers through the soft hair. They were content there for a time, before Shinso pulled out his phone to show the other boy memes. That is the end of chapter 11 of Cat? Nope, it's a child! Rewrite of Cat Child? By Anime Hair Colors on AO3. If you like this, please go support the original author. Links in the description below. Hope you have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye, kittens!